On Monday, the final funerals for victims of the Chamberlain plane crash over the Thanksgiving weekend will be held in Idaho Falls.
Jim Hansen, Jake Hansen, and Houston Hansen are the last to be laid to rest out of the 9 family members who died in the crash. 3 survivors were hospitalized here in Sioux Falls. 1 remains in Sanford Hospital tonight. The National Transportation Safety Board has released a preliminary report on the November 30th crash, but it could take as long as 2 years for the ruling on what caused it. Chamberlain's Angela Kennecke has been looking into the weather conditions at the time and whether the plane was in flying condition.
The Hansen men and their extended family members were on a hunting trip to Chamberlain and staying in the Thunderstick Lodge, which is well known for hosting high-powered clients from across the nation. Kirk Hansen was piloting the Pilatus PC-12, which is known for being a safe single-engine plane designed especially for smaller airports. A former NTSB investigator believes that based on the preliminary report, ice may be a factor in the crash. I've been looking into the incident and have talked with a witness to the tragedy. The family arrived in the Pilatus PC-12 single-engine airplane on Friday, November 29th. Freezing rain and snow were reported at the Chamberlain airport. There were no empty hangars and the plane remained outside. The family was set to leave on Saturday, November 30th. Interstate 90 was closed west of Chamberlain and a winter storm warning was in effect.
All snow and ice has to be removed. Not just because of the weight, because it affects the aerodynamics of the airplane. And given the fact that he was struggling for control left or right with this airplane, makes me think that he had contaminated flight controls.
At larger airports, using de-icing equipment on planes during the winter months is routine. But most smaller airports don't have this kind of equipment because of the costs involved. However, a witness at the airport tells Chamberlain Investigates that the Hansens brought de-icing supplies with them on the trip and stopped in Chamberlain to get additional supplies to de-ice the plane. According to the NTSB report, a pilot and 1 passenger worked removing the snow and ice from the airplane for 3 hours before the others joined them and the flight took off.
So he got off the ground. I don't know that they de-iced the tail. That's another problem, because this has a very high tail. Did they have the equipment that could have got them up there to break the ice up or clean off the tail? I tend to think that that may have been part of the problem.
According to the NTSB report, another witness near the airport heard the airplane for 4 to 5 seconds and the engine seemed to be running good until the sound stopped.
In this particular case, they will look to see what the condition of the engine was. Was it making power at the time of impact? So you can tell some of those things by the damage to the propeller. The investigation is like a jigsaw puzzle. You take all these points of information and put them together. And even if you have a piece missing, you can still tell the picture.
A confidential source told me that the pilot waited until the air temperature was above 32 degrees before taking off. Investigators have taken the parts of the plane and the engine to Minneapolis to examine it. The plane's recorder may yield some clues about what happened, as well as the 3 survivors.
Thanks, Angela. This is just the beginning of our in-depth look at the tragic 30-second flight. Only 1 second after taking off, problems began, and while the plane climbed to about the height of Mount Rushmore, something caused it to turn left and dive into a cornfield. In an interactive timeline, we've constructed a second-by-second look at this ill-fated flight. Right now, in this Chamberlain.com original report, you can also see how the factors of ice may have brought down this plane and get behind-the-scenes look at the secret investigative process that's happening to figure out a cause.